final radio transmission lasted only 17 seconds. None of the rescuers were panicking. None of them were screaming. But somewhere deeper inside the cave, another voice answered them back. After that, the signal disappeared completely. 4 experienced rescue divers entered the tunnel that night. None of them were ever seen again. 3 days before the storm reached the mountains, a volunteer rescue team was sent to recover 2 missing cave divers near the northern ridge system. The divers had entered the flooded tunnel just after sunrise. They never resurfaced. By the second night, emergency crews still hadn't received a single distress signal from below. No equipment failure, no collapsed entrance, no signs of flooding near the surface. The cave simply stopped responding. At 11:42 p.m., 4 experienced rescue divers entered the tunnel, carrying enough oxygen to last nearly 8 hours underground. According to the surface team, everything seemed normal during the first 30 minutes. The radio connection was stable. The divers were calm. Then one of them stopped speaking mid-sentence, and for the next 6 seconds, nobody on the surface heard anything at all. Several minutes passed before the radio connection finally returned. At first, nobody on the surface thought much about the silence. Underground communication failures were common inside flooded cave systems. Rock formations could block signals. Water could distort transmissions. Even experienced teams occasionally disappeared from radio contact for a few moments. When the signal came back, the rescue divers sounded calm. But something had changed. The team leader reported that they had reached a section of the tunnel that wasn't marked on any of the survey maps. At first, that wasn't unusual either. Many cave systems remained partially unexplored, especially those extending beneath underground rivers. Still, the surface coordinator asked them to verify their location. The response took longer than expected. Then another diver spoke. His voice sounded distant, almost distracted. He claimed they had passed the same rock formation twice. Nobody corrected him. For several seconds, the entire team remained silent. Then the radio crackled again, and someone quietly asked, "Why is the guideline moving?" The transmission ended before anyone could answer. The surface team immediately requested a status check. No response came back. For nearly a minute, the radio channel remained silent, except for bursts of static. Then the team leader finally returned. His voice was different now, shorter, more focused. He reported that the guideline wasn't drifting. It had been pulled completely off its original route. Several anchor points secured to the cave wall had somehow come loose. That wasn't supposed to happen. The line had been installed by professional survey teams years earlier. Some anchors were embedded deep into solid rock. As the divers followed the displaced guideline, they discovered something even more concerning. The tunnel behind them no longer looked familiar. Landmarks they had passed earlier were missing. A narrow rock formation used for navigation had disappeared completely. At first, they assumed they had entered a different passage by mistake. Then one diver checked his dive computer. According to the device, they hadn't changed direction once. For the first time that night, the rescue team discussed turning back. But when they attempted to retrace their route, the guideline ended abruptly in open water, as if the rest of it had simply vanished into the darkness. For the next 20 minutes, the rescue team searched for the missing section of guideline. They found nothing. The divers remained within radio range of one another, but conversation gradually became less frequent. Every instruction had to be repeated. Every decision took longer than before. The darkness seemed heavier now. Their flashlight beams revealed only fragments of the cave ahead. Beyond that was an endless wall of black water. Then one diver reported hearing movement. Not equipment, not water. Footsteps. The surface coordinator immediately asked him to repeat what he had said. The diver hesitated, then quietly corrected himself. He claimed it was probably just an echo. Nobody argued. Several minutes later, another diver stopped swimming. When asked why, he gave a strange answer. He said he could see a light ahead, a steady white light, far beyond the range of their equipment. The others reported seeing nothing. The diver continued staring into the darkness for nearly 30 seconds. Then, he finally whispered, "It's getting closer." No one responded, and for the first time that night, the rescue team stopped sounding like professionals. They started sounding afraid. The surface team ordered the divers to conserve oxygen and begin a controlled return to the entrance. No one argued. The mission had already failed. Finding the missing divers no longer mattered. Getting the rescue team home did. The group turned around and began following the only route they believed remained. For several minutes, everything was silent. Then one diver suddenly accelerated. The others demanded to know what he was doing. He didn't answer. According to the radio recordings recovered later, the diver sounded terrified. He kept repeating the same sentence. Again, and again, and again. "Someone is swimming behind us." The team leader ordered everyone to stop moving. 4 flashlight beams swept across the darkness. Nothing. No movement. No reflection. No sound. Just black water stretching beyond visibility. The diver refused to calm down. He claimed he could hear breathing. Not through the radio. Not through his equipment. Directly behind him. Within seconds, panic spread through the team. Breathing rates increased. Oxygen consumption climbed. Radio communication became chaotic. Then the surface coordinator heard something that had never appeared in any previous transmission. A 5th voice. Quiet. Distorted. Barely audible. Speaking from somewhere beneath the static. The transmission lasted less than 2 seconds. But every member of the surface team reported hearing it, and none of them could identify who it belonged to. The transmission containing the unidentified voice was the last complete message ever received from the rescue team. Over the next several minutes, radio contact deteriorated rapidly. Fragments of speech broke through the static. None of it made sense. The divers sounded disoriented. Several appeared, unable to agree on their location. One insisted they were moving toward the entrance. Another claimed they had been swimming in circles for nearly an hour. Then, at 2:17 a.m., every signal vanished. The cave fell completely silent. A second rescue operation was launched the following morning. It took 3 days to reach the location where the original team was believed to have disappeared. They found no bodies, no equipment, no oxygen tanks, no guideline, nothing. The section of tunnel described in the final transmissions could not be located. According to the recovery team, the cave system simply ended where the maps said it should. There was no unexplored chamber, no alternate route, no flooded passage matching the divers' reports. Officially, the incident was classified as an equipment failure combined with navigational error. The case was eventually closed. But years later, while reviewing archived radio recordings from that night, audio technicians discovered something unusual. The unidentified 5th voice appeared again. Not once, but 3 separate times. The same distorted voice. The same words, buried beneath the static. And according to the timestamp analysis, the voice always spoke several seconds before anyone in the cave asked a question, as if it already knew what was about to happen. To this day, nobody knows who the voice belonged to, or why it seemed to know the future inside a cave that officially never existed.